She just turned 1 this year. In a couple years when she grows up, what would you like her to be? Or what would you like her to be inspired by? To be no more than a housewife, or to be inspired to be the next president of the United States? This could all be possible if we could just change the world's perspective on feminism.
I don't remember a specific moment where I became a feminist. I remember from an early age, I remember in 4th grade we were talking about should a woman be able to be president, and just the question shocked me, like why is that even a consideration for that particular office? Why do we have to consider someone's gender? I remember that question being something that's really stuck with me as I've grown, of, why would people even consider, discriminating between the 2 genders? That just doesn't make sense to me.
I became a feminist because I believe every person, regardless of gender, age, race, whatever, needs to be treated as a human being, and that's why I became a feminist.
What made me become a feminist is the fact that I am, number one, I'm a woman. Number 2, I care about the rights and the equal opportunity and quality of life as a woman, as a Black woman. And I feel like it's my job, almost my obligation, to shed light on that voice, to highlight that voice, and to draw attention to that experience as a Black woman.
Well, I never actually went and said I'm gonna go be a feminist. It didn't happen like that. I just always stood for women's rights. Like, my mom's a strong woman. I'm a strong woman because of her. And I agree we should all be equal.
I became a feminist because it's the only ideology I've come across that really, I guess, connects my experiences with the larger world. It really puts a name to the experiences that I've witnessed, but also experiences that other people have. It not only defines those experiences, but seeks to find ways to remedy things, make things better, and I'm an idealist, so I love anything that tries to make the world a better place. And I feel it does it in the most comprehensive way possible. So that's why I am and remain a feminist.
So what made me become a feminist was my mom. She pretty much raised me that way. She was a single mom, so she was all about, I can do what guys can do. I can work the same way they can to be able to get paid at a higher rate. And I became a feminist. It's not really a label, it's just kind of in me.
Feminism for me is about seeing people where they're at regardless of their gender, and making sure that they are getting what they need from society, from the culture, and making sure that everyone's on an equal playing field.
Womanism is also a range of political and social movements, as well as ideologies that include and center the Black woman's experience and the Black woman's story. It also includes men and children, and the liberation of all Black women and intersectional women.
So feminism for me is just equal rights for everyone, and speaking up for a group of people that either you are a part or you're not a part, because we're a community of such diverse people, and why would you just hate just a certain group just for no reason? you know? So for me, I am a proud feminist. I'll use that word, like, through and through until I die.
Feminism in my own words. Feminism is all about women empowerment, everybody coming together and just uplifting each other, especially now when everything isn't, all good. And women, especially black women, need to stick together instead of, degrading each other, degrading themselves. It just works better when you come together.
Feminism, in my own words, would be just equality. So pretty much the same as guys, like, there's not like a 25 cent less difference in a paycheck, or like when I go to the grocery store, like Target, for example. I really hate when I go with my husband because he can get like shaving cream and it's like $4. I get shaving cream and it's like $5. I get a razor and it's like $6, and his is like $3. Like, why is it less expensive? It should be the same.
My definition of feminism is an intersectional one. I think that feminism itself, as in the original definition of feminism, is just the socioeconomic equality of the sexes, doesn't go far enough. I see it as the socioeconomic equality of across all social spectrums regarding gender, race, orientation, identity, etc. Ultimately, I see it as basically the definition of equality, but within that section, there are so many sub-branches of inequalities that need to be addressed. You can't just address one thing and have it change everything. So I guess ultimately my definition of feminism would be equality, while recognizing that there are many different branches that would make up what would be equality.
I don't know if I have done much to, benefit feminism per se. I believe that people should engage others in conversation, and not just Facebook posts or social media, but real one-on-one conversations. I feel like that's where the most growth, happens, is when I'm challenging you and listening to what you have to say, and you're challenging me. And I think that's been a big part of my strategy, not just for feminism, but LGBT rights, is just engaging people in a non-threatening, way, and just letting them discuss where they're at, and maybe challenging a couple assumptions at a time, and growing and developing with them as they process through the issue. I would say that's been my biggest contribution, is just talking to people.
I've done my job to shed light on that voice artistically and creatively as a poet, as a writer, as a performer, as an artist. I have tried to create conceptual spaces and conceptual pieces that talk about our story and our narrative, that draw attention to the very real issues that we face as women and as women of color. And in that, I've tried to bring together women. I've tried to bring in other men who may identify as feminists themselves, or who just want to support and affirm other black women.
So why do you think some people are against feminism?
If you're a womanist, then I can understand why you would disagree with feminism to an extent. Feminism is rooted in a very white, patriarchal sense. When feminism started, it didn't include the liberation of black women. It didn't include women of color at all. It was very white focused, white centered. So there are many women who disagree with feminism. However, Alice Walker said, feminism is to womanism as purple is to lavender. They're almost like cousins or sisters, if you will. So they are very similar.
Well, I try to contribute to feminism in my own way. I run a small little page on Facebook called A Queer Feminist, And that's my little place for not really putting my rants, but I guess doing things with feminism, posting about feminist issues, posting topics relating to feminism, everything about it. And my personal page, I kind of use as a tool. It's mostly for feminism as well because that's just who I am. So everything I post relates to it mostly in some way. I talk with my partner, his family, my family about it. Anytime anybody has questions on feminist-related things, you know, I try to answer them. I go to rallies. I speak out against injustices that I see and try to go to rallies for any injustice. So I wouldn't say I'm doing anything really large, but I am trying to contribute as much as I can in my own way.
The importance of being a feminist is to, number one, understand that you don't have to be a feminist to just be a woman, right? At the end of the day, feminism and womanism, these are labels. For most of us, we just need to start off with womanhood and figure out what it means to even be woman, and to navigate that in itself. But the importance of it and the significance of it is to understand your fight and the reason you're doing it, the why behind what you're doing. And once you realize and understand that, and you're able to analyze it and understand what you're doing, what type of revolution you're doing, then it becomes important. Then it becomes a lifestyle, not just something that you're trying to join for a second. This is what you're going to be doing, and you may be fighting for the rest of your life, who knows? But truly understand what it is and why you do it. And affirm, support, and stand with your other sisters.
Went through to get to where we are now, and we still have a lot of work to do to be able to continue on what we need, and just really simple things such as like Planned Parenthood and all that stuff.
Feminism is very important because the future literally is female. Without females, we would not be where we are today as a human race, and we still need it today because we are still progressing as a human race. Therefore, we really need to treat our women with the utmost respect because we literally create life.
Through being a daughter, a mother, a sister, a friend, feminism does not always give us a right, but it gives us the liberation to be us as women, the way we were made.